And I'd like to introduce one of the enterprises that is dealing or tackling an issue that most people in Uganda are either experiencing, have seen, and even worse in the refugee settings. This particular enterprise is in Jangu International, the senior community in PG, and they will be sharing with us how they are solving the problems related to sexual violence. At this point, I would like to invite Eric to present Totya.
Did you know that 1 out of 3 girls in Uganda get sexually abused? At the age of 8, I was sexually abused and asked myself, why me? Is it because I'm an orphan now? Or because I'm a child and no one would believe me? And with that, I didn't know where to turn, so I kept it to myself. I felt trapped with a lot of mental battles. Until I got the help and knew that I was not alone. I got my voice back. And finally realized someone is willing to listen and believe me. I could finally become the person that I am today, leading to the birth of Totya Platform, which supports victims of sexual violence to access psychosocial support to live a better life. Totya Platform offers 3 major programs. In prevention, we go out in the communities and schools and sensitize about the various forms of abuse and the negative effects on the individual, family, community, and nation at large. In healing, we offer online coaching and counseling, using our anonymous hotline to foster the mental well-being of the survivor, further conducting face-to-face or monitoring visits to involve the family in the healing journey, and take them to the health facility for medical examination and treatment of injuries. Lastly, to achieve justice, we facilitate the police progress in the survivor's case.
Nafuna obuyambi okuva mu kibiina kya Totya. Obuyambi kubumu bwe nafuna, obuyambi bw'omu ddwaliro, obuyambi okugenda ku poliisi paka ku ddwaliro. Nebaza Totya obutandekerera n'okusigala era nga bangenderako mpaka neyanza nnyo ntandikwa nje mwatandikira neyanza nnyo mweyanzeege. Tobola okwekolera ku bibu nze nga sitya.
Hi, hello, this is Eric. I hope I'm loud and clear, but I mean, just as you've watched the video, the Totya Platform is an enterprise that has been around now for almost 5 years, that is running, that envisions a future where where every individual lives a free and fair life, free and just life, free from sexual violence traumas. We are doing this by supporting survivors of sexual violence. We're supporting them with emergency medical care, to help them through the healing process. This medical care goes towards treating injuries that may have been contracted during rape, It also caters for prevention of unwanted pregnancies and prevention of HIV/AIDS, but also treating sexually transmitted infections. We also, just like you saw in the video, we're working to prevent sexual violence. In fact, we prefer to prevent rather than treat it, because we do realize that it is cheaper it is cheaper to prevent sexual violence than it is to treat it. So our first goal is to prevent it. Now, this involves going out in communities and educating them about sexual violence. And usually this also leads to more people reporting cases of sexual violence, to more people coming forth and saying they need medical support, they need support to access, they need trauma healing support, which leads them to our counselors and our psychology counselors that provide counseling and work with work with the survivors through their healing journey. On top of that, the other very important aspect that we have to our work is helping survivors to access justice. This actually is also a mode of prevention, because when survivors are able to get justice through the police stations, they're able to report their cases and have them sorted, perpetrators put away. First of all, perpetrators are held accountable. Research has shown that most sex offenders are repeat offenders. So when they are held accountable, when they are taken away to be rehabilitated, then we reduce the chance that they will come back and repeat the offense. But also, for a long time, sexual violence has not been spoken about in Uganda. It has been a shameful thing to talk about, and because of this, perpetrators have been continuing to violate individuals in silence and with so much impunity. However, with the work that Totya is doing together with the police and the state attorneys or the public prosecutor's office, we're able to put these perpetrators away. We're able to hold them accountable, and through this, now it is general knowledge that perpetrators will be held accountable. And now it has grown our impact. In fact, since we have, I think, no, last year alone, we were able to put away 76 sex offenders. So in a nutshell, this is what we continue to do. So far, we've been able to hold about 560 community awarenesses. This is where we go in the community and we speak to the community. We educate them about sexual violence. Remember, this is a community with a history where no one ever speaks about sexual violence. We're educating them on terms like consent and their rights. And this also, and through this, we are able to have, again, people reporting cases of sexual violence. We're able to have those that need healing to come forth. And so this has led to over 30,000 individuals being educated about sexual violence. We've been able to reach out in schools. We've reached out to up to 6,000 students so far. And through this, over 1,000 individuals have been able to access treatment, emergency medical care. This has been, like I said before, either treatment of STIs or treatment of STIs, sexually transmitted illness, infections, or or unwanted pregnancies have been prevented. So this is over 1,000, mostly young girls between the ages of 0 and 17 years. And yeah, so in a nutshell, I just wanted to give an introduction of what we have been doing so far. I'm going to pass on to my other colleague, Chintu, who is with me here. He's in charge of...
Hello, everyone. My name is Chintu Augustine, and I'm the Senior Programs Coordinator in the Department of Advocacy. So far, Erica tried to at least give us the light of what Totya does generally, and you have seen that our main focus is to make sure that we prevent, because we believe that it's the most important thing. It's to prevent sexual violence in our community so that it doesn't happen. And in our communities, it's just because people they are not aware, they are not knowledge about this. As that's why we came up with an idea of saying that no, let's go and prevent sexual violence in the community. So how we do it, we totally go in, we do community awareness programs with the community members. We go in schools, we engage schools, we engage our change agents. Those are the ones, the parasocial workers we work with. And also we make sure that we emphasize all the root causes of sexual violence in the communities we are living in. So far this year, it gave us the statistics, or the numbers, the ones we have been doing. And this year, actually, only the community we have tried to reach out to 1,052 community members. Those are the people we reached out to. And also on media, we tried to reach out to 20,000 people, like using the local radios, using the using the radio, community radios, using newspaper writings and all those things. So, and also in school, we managed to reach out to 4,487 in schools. We go on repeating these schools because we do it like 3 times. We don't focus on only one community awareness program. We continuously go back to school so that we can monitor how people, all our students now understand the way they understand sexual violence, or they continue to understand sexual violence those ways. So we try to make sure that we repeat our community awarenesses in school so that people get aware more. So also we make sure that we work with the change agents. These are the parasocial workers we work with. We make sure that we do move with them. We train them on the ways on how we can, they can help victims and survivors of sexual violence in communities. So we train them and we give them knowledge. Like so far, uh, we have over 50 parasocial workers we are working with in communities. So we make sure that they go in communities where Totya can't reach and create awareness about sexual violence. So our parasocial workers, they have reached over 7,028 survivors. People in the different communities, and we reporting that we make sure that we try to tell them every time the purpose for them why they are there. It's to make referrals to make referrals or to the victims to us, to Totya, and also make sure that they lead or they give them all the reporting procedures on how they can understand, on how they can get justice when they are when they are so yeah, that's mostly the purpose for the parasocial worker. And here I'm with another colleague of mine, who is Susan.
Hello, thank you so much, Shinto. To continue from where my colleagues have mentioned, this is the Department of Emergency and Psychosocial Support. And yeah, welcome. In this department of Totya, this is where we handle the medical and then the counseling of the survivors. Now, medical is very crucial and timely. It is one of the important aspects. Yes, we've mentioned the prevention, and if prevention hasn't happened, this is one of the important aspects to a survivor. For starters, we are called through our community volunteers, through the police that we work closely with, and then we are informed. I'm giving you a scenario here. We are informed of, for example, a case that has happened, and we come in to ensure that this survivor has been examined at their own free will. That is, if they are interested in reporting this case. Examination is very important because it is one of the evidences that is used. Now, with that journey, there is need for testing, there is need for treatment. What happens here is testing is done for HIV. If the perpetrator is known, then they are also tested. Now, when a perpetrator is tested, it helps in ensuring that this survivor does not go through that long process of taking PEP. PEP is in prevention of HIV, in prevention of HIV. That is if the perpetrator has been arrested and they are known. When the survivor is tested and they are found negative and the perpetrator is found negative, then we rule that out. PEP is not needed. But then we are left with need for antibiotics, need for treatment of injuries. Of course, not all of them get injuries, but injuries are a possibility. Then we do the treatment of injuries. Let's note that the communities that we work with as Totya Platform are vulnerable communities, meaning Totya Platform, through the funders that we have on board and those we are yet to get, have to make this payment. The vulnerability in this way is in this way, that at times hospitals or health centers are very far away, and then there is a cost that is to be paid. Examination costs, treatment, there are costs. So that is when the organization comes in. Now, we then start the journey with the survivor, which is in terms of psychosocial support, working. Remember, when someone has been abused, there's that authority, that energy it has taken away from you mentally and physically. It has taken this person's will to consent. So because of this, Totya comes in to give that person the free space where they are able to speak out, speak through that moment that they went. It was a life and death moment that they went through. Now that they have survived it, how are they moving on with their life after this abuse? We've heard of many people that have lived with this for long. For example, when our founder mentions in her life experience, it was at 8 years. This torments her for until adulthood, until eventually she gets the help, because she's able to talk about it. A counselor walked the journey with her to get over whatever it is that happened at that time. Now, this is what happened. Fortunately or unfortunately, our biggest percentage are children. We have our youngest at 6 months. We have those around 1 year. Of course, we have also those who are elderly at 99 years. And these are still in our communities that we work with. Now, currently, one of the programs under this department is at the end of the year, because when you hear the torture story, you hear pain. You see, oh, how are you able to work with this all the entire time? We have programs. For example, you do see this picture, this art piece that is behind me. We do have a program that runs at the end of the year, where we reach out to the survivors that invited us to their homes, the ones that we have physically met, to a get together to celebrate them, celebrate what they have gone through and how far they have come. And this is one of the things that brings us joy at the end of the year, where you are seeing that the survivor who came to you when they are very vulnerable, at a time when they felt like they had no hope, you are reaching out to the survivor, and at this time they are speaking about their story. They are able to tell you, you know what, I have overcome that and I am back in school, or I have my baby, but I'm now working to make sure that they have school fees, they can start school. So that this is where we are. Up to date this year, currently we do have this year we have been able to reach 491 new survivors. That is from the month of January up to now, as I speak, we have reached 491. Now, out of the 491, we have had 286 that have physically invited us to walk the journey with them. Now, you ask yourself what happened to the other number of 200 and something. The number is yet to invite us, because we do not, mental health is something that someone has to invite you into their lives for them to be able to speak about what they're going through. And we do not force our survivors to do that. It's at free will. When they tell you, okay, I am ready, come to my home, that is when we bring in the home monitoring visits. The home monitoring visits, we ensure that at least every survivor of torture gets at least 3 sessions, based on how they are going about it. But we ensure that every survivor gets about 3 sessions with one of our counselors. Now, at the moment, we also do have the walk-ins at our offices right here at Jangu, where any survivor who feels they need to speak to us, we have opened up an office here that they get in and speak at their own free will with no charge, no charge, of course. We are also a section for the mental health for Django International, for anyone who feels like they need to open up and be able to speak to counselors. We have professional counselor. I, for one who is speaking, I'm a counseling psychologist who has been certified. And so for the mental health purposes, we are in safe hands. So, yeah, back to you, Mary.